Got it. Okay. I think maybe one of my favorite quotes that I just feel like applies to a lot of areas of life is that everything you want is on the other side of hard. And just knowing like in relationships, in life, in basketball, in, your job or your career, everything that you want, your biggest dreams or, aspirations, there's going to be hardships that come along the way and you're going to have to work really freaking hard to get there. But everything you want is on the other side of that.
I know that's right.
Oh my God, Mia.
Yeah, and when you take a pic, I like the way you pose a special way. Can deal with petty shit, I never let drama get in the way. And you can deal with none of your problems, cause you rather run away. It hurts the most when your family tend to be your biggest pain. Everybody getting older, but nobody seems to change. And when you really love somebody, certain things you just don't say. Look how we
Welcome back to another episode of Fast Break Focus. Today we are here with I'll just say a trailblazer who's on her way to doing fantastic things. She's won multiple state championships as a player. She was a part of a 107 game winning streak in high school. She was a two-time KCAC scholar athlete, two-time NAIA scholar athlete. She went to Tabor College. She then transferred to Kansas City. She's a two-time KCAC champion of character award recipient. She's the first player in Tabor College history to be selected to the WBCA So You Want to Be a Coach program. She is an NAIA academic All-American, graduated summa cum laude, earned her degrees in communications and business administration. She earned her master's degree. She was a WBCA 30 under 30 honoree. She's an assistant coach, sorry, at Oklahoma State. She was a director of basketball administration at Oklahoma State. She graduated from Kansas City. She was a graduate assistant, I'm sorry, from Kansas City, and she's a WBCA, like I said, 30 under 30 honoree. Welcome to Fast Break Focus,
That was
Coach Talia.
quite the intro. Thank you for
Gotcha. Gotcha.
that.
I like doing my research and like some of those things that I just found interesting. You know what I mean? Because I know
Yeah,
you're coaching everything, but school isn't very important. And I think that it's important to know that a lot of these coaches they've actually have their master's degrees.
right. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Definitely.
Gotcha. So the first thing is I always like to ask is my first question is, what got you into basketball?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, I didn't really have a choice. I was kind of more born into basketball. My mom is a legendary high school coach in the state of Kansas, and I have three older sisters that played before me. Obviously, I work for one of those sisters now. JC is my boss and my big sister. But yeah, I just grew up in the gym, honestly. I watched all three of them played college basketball. My mom played college. It just grew up in a gym. If I go back home to where I grew up, the older people are like, "Oh, last time I saw you, you were sleeping in the bleachers," because I was just like the little girl
Right.
running around watching my sisters play basketball. So I don't know that I really got into basketball. I was just born into it, and it kind of chose me. But I'm thankful for it because it's been just the most amazing platform that I could have ever asked for.
You come from a real basketball family. I read
Yes,
that
yes.
I read that you guys used to play adults versus kids basketball, and it
Oh
get heated.
yeah, it's heated. It's competitive. Our family Christmas is fun, but kind of not fun because we just it ends in a fight of who fouled and who didn't call their own foul and
Right.
whose toe was on the line. That was a two, not a three. Yeah, it gets pretty heated, but
Can you
it's
share,
fun. It's
can you
fun.
share some of the stories that like just a moment that describes what you were talking about?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I think this was like maybe this was right when COVID was starting and we all ended up just moving back to my parents' house and like staying there. They lived in a small town and we were just, it was the shutdown was starting. So we just all went there and we were playing 3-on-3 on the driveway court. And JC and my mom were guarding each other and it was getting a little heated. And I think there was like some like shoving. And
Mm.
then next thing I know, somebody's gone, like they had to leave the game early. The game was over early because it was too feisty, too competitive. So yeah, the competitiveness definitely runs in the family.
Gotcha. That's crazy. That mom and sis going at it.
Oh yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that there was plenty of other times when other people were going at it as well.
Oh, 100%. I have an uncle in particular that he never calls his own foul. He likes to face guard people, so that gets heated because who face guards in, family
Right.
basketball, but
Right.
yeah,
That's very true.
it gets a little over the top, but it's fun.
Right. So when did you really start to really like, I'm gonna take basketball serious?
Yeah. So, I mean, when I was in kindergarten, I was playing in 3-on-3 tournaments, and you mentioned the high school team that I was on that we won 107 games. That team, we had been playing together since I was in kindergarten. Like we
Mm,
started so young with 3-on-3, then got into 5-on-5, obviously when we were of age when we were first graders. We were playing in 5-on-5 tournaments. And it's actually so full circle because the MAYB national tournament was in Stillwater, Oklahoma,
hmm.
at the rec center that we occasionally have to have a practice in. And
Right.
like when I walk back in there, I get goosebumps because I remember being a second grader playing there for MAYB nationals. And it just feels really full circle. But yeah, just grew up playing with that team, played with them through junior high, high school. Obviously, we had kind of that storied run there. And then honestly, just didn't know any other way than to play college basketball. I mean, that was never really like a thought in my mind of if I was going to play. It was just like where and what kind of fit I wanted. So yeah, honestly, I just kind of grew up on it since kindergarten. I was playing. I remember my first 3-on-3 tournament. So yeah.
Gotcha. And so you, what was like your like game like? Because you know everybody's seen your sister play and stuff like that. Did you try to mimic your game after your sister?
Oh no. She was a scoring point guard. She was
Mm.
a really great point guard. I was just stand in the corner and shoot threes. My motto was if like threes are worth more than two. I just wanted the three-pointer. I played with great pieces around me and I had a great point guard. I had great post players and
Hmm.
I was the ultimate role player. I loved my role. I definitely wasn't the kind that was like, I wanted to expand my game. I didn't. I just wanted to be the best shooter that I could be.
Right.
And I really took being a great teammate seriously too. So I wanted to be like the best communicator on the floor, the best leader. But yeah, my game was beyond the arc only. That's where I lived.
Gotcha. So, just speaking, I brought it up, you brought it up, your incredible team, the incredible run. What do you remember most about that run? Like, 'cause that's a lot of
Mhm.
winning. That's a lot of winning.
Yeah. No, that was just there was a lot of pressure in that. I mean,
Hmm.
you're literally like you have a winning streak on the line every single time that you play. To be honest, we were pretty dominant in that run, so there weren't very many close games in that. Every night was kind of a 40-point win or a 30-point win. If it got to 20, we were feeling a little nervous, but there were like this was in like the state championship games even. We were winning by like 20, 30 points. We were just honestly that dominant during that time frame. But honestly, what I remember most is just the relationships. Like I'm still really close with those girls. We got inducted into the Hall of Fame last year for that run and got to see them all again. So that was like really special to me. Obviously playing for my mom during that time was
Hmm.
just I have goosebumps now just thinking about how special that was to not just like go through the wins, but know that the legacy that we had is together. And like for the rest of my life, we're going to be in the Hall of Fame together. And that's just a time that I am so grateful for and thankful for. I do unfortunately remember the loss as well. I remember
Hmm.
that probably more than the other wins, but it was fun. It was just such a special moment in time that I just will capture forever.
I got to go back to something that you said because it caught my attention, and people gonna see it on camera too when it hit me. You said that when he got to 20 points, you guys got nervous?
Yes. We would like we were a pressing team, like we would just press and
Ah.
we played fast in transition. We were like just my mom is like a really defensive minded coach, which is kind of funny because JC and I are not. We're like offensive coaches for sure. But she was just like we just dominated people, honestly. And if it got to 20 points, we would like kind of like she would probably call a timeout and start getting after us in the huddle, like you're not playing hard enough. But yeah, it was a pretty dominant run, honestly.
Right. So your mom created a standard, if we can say.
hmm
That's a
Yeah.
in order to win like that, there's a standard that needs to be set. What was it like playing for your mom and playing under that standard?
Yeah, honestly, the team that I played on that broke that record and had that record, we were a product of honestly like JC's teams and my other sister's teams. They had to do kind of the paving of the trail first. They played for my mom when she first got to the new school, and it wasn't a basketball school when we got there. It was a wrestling school. Everything was about boys' teams there when we got there. This was when I was like really young, so I'm telling the stories that I've been told. But they had to create the standard. They created that, and it was one of hard work. Um, Always giving your best every day. It didn't matter what, if you felt like it, there was no feelings. It was just like you do what's demanded of you, and there's a certain level of discipline and just a standard of excellence required. And she never lowered the bar. And people would ask her to, like, why are we playing on weekends in the summer? It's summer. It's a small, farming town. That wasn't what people were used to. Like playing basketball in the summer was like, wait, what? But she didn't lower her standards. She was like, well, you can get in or get out, but like we're doing this thing. And the people that bought in, like, reaped the rewards from it. And my team was definitely a byproduct of teams before us that had done a lot of the dirty work to kind of establish us as that powerhouse that we were. But yeah, she definitely had really high standards, and it was always about just being your best. Like, are you being the best that you can be, not the best that, not comparing yourself to what your teammates are like. Like I talked about how I was a role player. Honestly, I think that's really underrated. Um, I think that people struggle to buy into roles now. I think they always want like more, what like they want an expanded role. And I think my mom was so elite at getting players to buy into their role and just like feeling so much buy-in in that and feeling like that's what you needed to do for your team to win. And that was another standard, was like you're the best at your role and you're not looking at other people's roles or like feeling some kind of way about it, but you are doing everything that you can to be the best at what you do best.
Right. And with that standard, I obviously, recruiting comes and, now, attention starts to follow all the players and because now we got to pay attention to who are these girls that are winning this much. What was your recruiting
Mhm.
process like?
Yeah, we were a small town. So, and also because of what I said, like everyone was just kind of, we were like really great system, but something that was really cool about that team was that there was no Division One basketball players on that team. So it was truly like team basketball. Like we weren't stars, we weren't on any of the ESPN lists or anything. We were just like players who owned our role and played for a really good coach who helped us win a lot of games. And that was something that kind of cool about that role. So my recruitment was super low key. I kind of had honestly a dream of going to Nebraska Kearney because my mom went there. My mom went to school there, and I knew the coach really well because Coach JC actually worked for her when she was at Fort Hays State. And
Hmm.
so I knew the coach. She was kind of a family friend, and it was my dream to go there, and I had the opportunity to. So it was no process for me. It was just the dream coming true for me.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you said your mom went there, and is that really one of the reasons? You say that's one of the reasons, but did your mom have any real like pushing into like, hey, they're calling, you should answer their call.
No, she just wasn't. She was honestly, I'm the youngest of four. She was over the college decision process by the time I got there. She was like, just whatever you want to do, just do it. We like went on the tour there and she was like, wanted to wait in the car. I was like, okay, mom, like, can you at least like walk around with me? Like she was
Yeah.
so over it by the time that I was going through it. But yeah, no pushing from my family. I definitely made the decision kind of on my own. I mean, they were excited for me, but no nudging.
Right. Gotcha. And so just committing there and then your freshman season, what is what do you remember most about your freshman season?
Yeah, so I spent 2 years at Nebraska Kearney before I went to Tabor, and
Hmm.
I'll just kind of group those first 2 years together. I learned so much, and honestly, I got kind of homesick because my family moved after I committed. They moved further away, and I was kind of a homebody. Um, but I loved my coaches. It's Carrie Amy, who's now at South Dakota, and her husband Devin Amy, and we still have a great relationship. I just texted with him the other day, so saw him on the road, and we're really close still. So I'm so grateful for the opportunity that they gave me, and I think she's one of the best, basketball minds in the game, and it was great for me to get to learn from her. And I had great teammates there that I'm still close with. So it was fun. And a freshman year is hard. It just is for everybody, for every freshman. Like it's okay if you're struggling. Everyone does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great experience. I'm thankful for it. Just felt like I wanted to go back closer to home and kind of have more of a small school experience for my last 2 years.
Right. So was Tabor College always the pick after? Did you know that Tabor College was the pick? Or was it like there was a couple other schools?
Yeah, it was kind of, they were one of the schools that I liked before I went to UNK, and the
Hmm.
coach, my mom really trusted and felt like they had players who were similar to me in that they came from small schools and, had great high school careers, and I felt like I could see myself doing well there. So, um, the portal was like not really a thing at the time. It was like kind of becoming a thing, but not the way that it is now. So there wasn't really like taking a bunch of visits and stuff. It was just I wanted to be back closer to home. I wanted to be at a Christian school, and I felt like that was a system that was going to fit me. So it was kind of an easy decision.
You was academic honor roll all 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm
What
kind of
was
the nerd of the family.
what is it about the education for you? Because everybody
hmm
everybody looks at the athlete part, but nobody looks at the
Yeah,
student part. What was so
yeah.
important the student part for you?
I love school actually. I was kind of a nerd. I was competitive in the classroom. Like I wanted to have the highest grades in class. It wasn't enough to get like the A. I was like looking over like, ugh, they got a 94, I got a 93. That's annoying. Like I was like really competitive in the classroom too.
Mhm.
And I didn't always know that I wanted to be a coach. I thought for a while I was going to be my freshman and sophomore year, I was like going to be a doctor, which that was silly of me. I'm bad at science. So that was kind of dumb. But even after that, I was like set on wanting to get my doctorate and be an athletic director and things like that. But that's not where my heart ended up taking me. But yeah, I love school, and I do think that how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you show up as your best self in the classroom and you're competitive in the classroom, then that's how you're going to be on the court too and in practice.
You're where you go, winning follows. You guys won a championship there. Oh, you guys, your senior year, if I'm not mistaken, senior year. What
hmm
what do you remember most about just winning a championship? Because you won you won a couple multiple in high school. Now
hmm
you get one in college. What was that like?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. I had great senior leaders that year that we won the championship at Tabor. That was fun. Just to I'm such a relationship person. Like I'm all about the teammate relationships. That's what I've always remembered on those championship years is the buy-in from players, the buy-in to just winning, putting winning over everything. Like there was no egos on the teams that we won on. It was just all about dying to ourselves and sacrificing for the feeling of a championship. And we ultimately got that. But yeah, I think that it's the relationships that really like have always stuck with me from those years, and that's what makes it special.
Now, earlier you said that you didn't want to be a coach. Then you become the, the first person in program history to be
Yes.
selected for the so you want to be a coach. How did the opportunity come about for somebody who said, I don't even want to be a coach?
Yeah. So I think my junior and senior year, I kind of started feeling the coach strings tugging at my heart and just yeah, I mean, I don't know who I was trying to fool. Everyone in my family is a coach. Like it's literally destined for me, but yeah, so I did know my senior year that I wanted to be a coach and I really wanted to go be a GA for JC and the opportunity presented itself to I saw this so you want to be a coach program and applied for it
Hmm.
because I had always gone to Final Fours growing up because JC would go and would see all these programs and just think like I want to be in those like I want to be in those rooms with those people and did some research and found that program and just told my head coach like I think I want to apply for this and he I think that they have to do like a recommendation so he helped me out. I did my application and I got accepted to that. So yeah, that was fun. That was a fun just kind of like first step of feeling like okay, yeah, I can do this. Like I can be a coach even though I'm coming from a small school. So yeah, that was fun.
Gotcha. And you follow your sister immediately after you
Yeah.
graduate. And like literally immediately. Um,
Yeah.
what did she give you a hard time when you called, or did she call you? How did the opportunity come about?
Okay, this is actually a funny story. I don't know if people know this, but so I graduated during COVID. So it's the 2020 year. I
Hmm.
didn't get to finish my senior year. We had to go home early and then the shutdown starts. And like I said, we all moved back to my parents' house because she lived in Kansas City. It was obviously like the cities were harder to live in during that time. So we
Hmm.
all moved back to my parents' small town. And I am applying for her GA position while we're living in the same house. And being the big sister that she is, she was like, "Well, you need to go through the interview process." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, like, yeah, I'll do it." So my dad's a superintendent, and she asks him if she can use his office. And so we like drive together to my dad's office. I put on a blazer. We sit across from each other at a desk and conduct a formal interview. And then after she's like, okay, well, we'll be in touch. Like you would close a normal interview. And then we get in the same car together and drive back home. So, like, we actually went through a formal interview process, if that's what you want to call it. But
Right.
yeah. So that's how that went. But the COVID definitely kind of changed how that probably was gonna look. But yeah.
Right. So obviously, so she gave you a hard time about it and stuff. And so, what do you remember most about that year following your sister? Because how much older is she than you?
She's 8 years older than me.
Yeah, so this is your first time really getting to spend actual real basketball time
Right.
together. So like
Yeah.
what
No,
was that
that's
year
true.
first year like?
Yeah. So again, I keep talking about COVID, not on purpose, but just, that was the COVID year that was kind of hard. Like we're wearing masks and gloves in practice, which was kind of a weird experience. But seeing JC in that way was just really special and it's still special to this day, but obviously that was the first time that I was getting to experience it. um JC's always been my role model. Like I've always wanted to be JC since I was a little girl, just watching her. Like I wanted to be the player she was. I wanted to do the job she did. She's probably the reason that I'm a coach. Because my mom was a high school coach. I didn't even know about college coaching really, But so seeing her be a college coach, like that's what made me want to do it. She's always been the person that I wanted to be, and getting to work with your role model is like unreal. Like who can top that? Like you're getting a front row seat at the person that you want to be and the person you want to emulate and the person that you just hold in such a high esteem. And it was just really special to get to have that first year with her. That was a hard year because of just all the things going on. But being not just with your role model, but then being with your sister is like just a feeling that I'll never, ever, ever take for granted right now. And then just that first year, like the first year getting to experience that was really special.
Gotcha. So right after that, you guys pack it on up, and you guys are now where you're at Oklahoma State. Do you remember? Do you remember your sister getting the call? Did she talk to you about it at all?
I do remember her getting the call. I was at her house. If you go back to her interview when she first got the job, she talks about my dog because we were at her house and she stepped out to take the call and my dog ran down the street after her and she had to like chase my dog down right after she got the call about being the head coach at Oklahoma State. So she always talks about how she was humbled in that moment and it was my dog's fault. So I do remember when she got the call and again, just like seeing your role model and your big sister get to, fulfill a dream of being a Power Four head coach was really, really an amazing moment. And then she called like my parents after, and I got to see my parents' reaction and, see them get emotional because really it's on the backs of their sacrifices that we're getting to live out these dreams that we are. So yeah, I do remember the day she got the call. My dog humbled her. And it was really special though. I didn't really know before that, but I was excited when it happened.
Right. Now, you spent the first three seasons as I'm sorry, we'll look at program director of basketball administration.
Yes.
Did she create that position for you? I've never. What is that? What is that?
It's the Dobo job, the director of
Okay.
ops.
Okay.
Yeah, I think at Oklahoma State it's called administration, but yeah, it was just the ops job.
Gotcha, gotcha. And so, did you ask once again? Did you guys go through that process of an interview for you to get that job?
No interview that time. I just was along for the ride. She has always given me opportunities that I'm grateful for. Not just job opportunities, but just like access to things. Like she brought me on her first day at Oklahoma State. Like I got to be by her side, like as she's seeing the facilities for the first time. And we hit the ground running. Like that spring was crazy. We left our husbands behind in Kansas City and we're sharing a hotel room. And that was like one of the hardest springs we've ever had. It was like we were getting up at 6 a.m. and not going to sleep until like midnight, just trying
Mm-hmm.
to figure out a staff, figure out a roster, figure out, I mean, the staff was obviously her decision, but like we're trying to find players and we're trying to figure out where our offices are and like find our way around Stillwater and GIA and try to find houses. But those were like really long, hard days. And there's just something really special about long and hard days too, though. Like when you come out on the other side of it, it makes it worth it. But yeah, we laugh because we ate at the same restaurant like every single night because it was attached to our hotel. And when we go back to that, we're like, remember when we were eating here every single night? Because this is where we lived. So yeah, that was a crazy time, but yeah.
So you you're now in a bigger pool of students, a lot bigger pool of athletes. What was it a shock to you? Like, holy cow, we go from this small school to now this huge school.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a jump. And I think one of my, okay, I'm sorry, this story involves Texas. I'm not trying to do this on purpose, but so we had a moment where we can do this, even though we came from a small school. And that moment was we brought one of our players with us from UMKC. Her name was Mimi Alnadis. She was a really special player.
Mm,
But we brought her with us and we had a great non-con season, but you get to Big 12 and it's kind of like, okay, like it's time to like show if we can do this or not. And you have question marks because we've never won a Big 12 game before, so there's kind of like question marks around it. We go 0-2 in our first two games, and it was kind of like, oh crap, like I don't know. There was just a lot of doubts, and you start like
Mhm.
questioning things. Um, and then we played Texas at home,
I know
and
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, I'm sorry, but
Oh, I know
we beat
exactly what
Texas
you're
at
talking
home,
about.
and Mimi had like such a special game. She was so, so special in that game, and there was just this feeling of like we can do this. And like Texas is Texas. Like it wasn't just like winning a Big 12 game, it was like beating Texas at home. And, our mid-major transfer was the one kind of leading the charge on that. And that was just like, I just remember the three of us like being together after that game, like, we're doing it. Like we can freaking do this here. It doesn't matter if we came from a small school. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw your Longhorns under the bus, but that's a true story.
It is a true story because oh gosh, I know exactly the game you're talking about. I remember it. That was when you say special game. That was. I might post the highlights of that game. I
Yeah, post the
posted.
highlights. I
Yeah,
need the autograph Aussie and one to seal the deal in the highlight reel.
yeah. That was a long day for me. I ain't gonna lie to you. So you guys turned the program completely around in a sense. You guys take a team that previous year went 9-20, and then you guys
Yeah.
go 21-12.
Yeah.
Ninth in the conference to tie for fourth. What was the adjustment that you guys feel needed to be made, and what were some of the things that you guys implemented?
Yeah. Well, first we just had to establish our culture, like what our culture is about, our core values. Our program is about sisterhood, growth mindset, accountability. Like we had to get all those things in place and we had to get people that fit it. So really building our roster was where we were able to turn that around. And we did that with fifth years out of the portal. Obviously we brought Mimi with us. We had Oklahoma girls join us, Terran Milton and Claire Chastain. They were along for the ride, had some returners that stayed and helped us do it, and then had some of our first like portal recruits like Onagret that I'm talking about. She,
Hmm.
came from a power four and wasn't playing there. And we kind of saw the vision with her, and she was part of what made that year really special. But it really was with people. We had to get the right people there and get our culture in place. And that year was really special because of those fifth years that we had. I think there's something special about a player that only has 1 year left. It's just like the urgency that they have
Yeah,
is different than anything else. And that team was like they were determined to win and they wanted to win for Oklahoma State. They were really bought into Oklahoma State and doing something for the university, which was also really special and kind of unique in this time and day and age. But yeah, that was a really fun year. It was because of the culture and the pieces that we brought in.
right. Now, I hate to bring it up. You and your sister had a little bit of a sophomore slump, if we want to say,
Yes,
that
we
second
did.
year. What did that teach you guys? Because you talked about a humbling story of her getting the job, um, the dog running down the street. Then, you
Yeah.
guys have some huge success, turning the program around in 1 year. Now you get this humbling experience again. Can you speak on just that
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah. So that second year was kind of a combination of things. The first one was injuries.
Hmm.
We were really hit with the injury bug that year. I think at the second half of our season, we had like seven healthy players. So, I mean, we were, bare bones kind of as we went through the season. That was really kind of a result of just being hit with injuries. But the thing that it taught us is, character matters. You have to background check and vet check not just the stats that you're bringing in or the player that you're bringing in, but the person that you're bringing in. And on paper, if you would have looked at that team before season started, that was going to be a really good team. But we just didn't really do our background checks or our character checks, and it taught us that we really need to bring in people that fit Coach JC, they fit what our staff is about, they fit what Oklahoma State's about. Oklahoma State is not for everybody. We're
Mm,
not for everybody. Everybody's not for us.
mm.
You have to have people that, want to be in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and people that just want to win and are committed to being about the things that we're about. And I think that's really like the biggest takeaway that we learned from that year. And just, the transfer portal is like speed dating. Like you don't have very long to get to know people. It goes so fast. Like that recruiting process is so, so fast. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think that we really learned some hard lessons in that year. But as a result, I think that now we're elite in the transfer portal and we're really good at, doing those recruitments in the spring. So
I'm gonna get to that in a second. You moving too fast. You moving too fast. So I like to do step by step. Yeah. So
I'm sorry, I skipped
you're
ahead.
fine. So the very next year, you guys go 25-7 and have an incredible, incredible run. Just doing well in the conference third. You lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
hmm
What did you learn about just like, okay, we have this great run, but we don't have the postseason success that we're looking for?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was still a hump to get over. Like, we obviously eventually got over it, but this year, but we kind of realized like, oh, there's this much that we have to cover. Like it's one thing to make the tournament, but now how can we win in the tournament? And it was um that team was really special. Again, not to make excuses, but our post player had an injury. She didn't get to practice the whole week of the NCAA tournament week. So we always like look back at that like, ugh, if she would have been healthy, like does that
Hmm.
game go differently? But yeah, I think we did realize like, okay, there's this much that we've got to go, and what do we need to get to fill that gap to win in the NCAA tournament? And that really kind of shaped our recruiting for the next year's roster.
Oh, wait a minute, I just saw something in the notes. That was your first time ever looking up at the poll and seeing the school that you're with be ranked in the top 25. Can you speak on that experience?
Oh, yeah. Um, I don't know. It's really special. Like every moment is special from so many different angles because I'm not just experiencing that moment for myself. I'm experiencing it for my big sister. I'm
Hmm.
experiencing it for players that I just like have so much belief in, and like seeing them get to like accomplish a goal like that is like everything to me. Like it's why I do it. So yeah, I mean, they are just like small things, even rankings, like sometimes rankings mean something, sometimes they don't, but like just, you know, seeing a small like dream realized for not just me, but for my big sister and players that I
Hmm.
love is always special, no matter what it is.
Right. I know that's right. And so the very next year, you guys go 24-10, 12-6 in the conference, tie for fourth in the conference once again. This time you go to the second round.
Yeah.
Just speak on
Yeah.
just last year, you guys having the success that you had and trying to build on that.
Yeah, no, we went into that tournament just so locked in on winning the first round. And we were going to do everything that it took to freaking win in that tournament because we had been and we hadn't won, and we were just ready to like get that monkey off of our backs, and had the pieces to do it, and felt like we had recruited to help us win in that first round game, and players that like Staley Hurd, for example. Staley Hurd, no one was more motivated to win than Staley Hurd because she's a competitor, but she had tasted losing in the tournament. And we
Hmm.
all had. But having players that have tasted losing in the tournament, and then also we had added Haley Timmer from South Dakota State who had won in the tournament, and she knew what it took to win. And then we had, Staley that knew she wasn't going to lose again. Like she was
Hmm.
not going to lose in the tournament in the first round. And so it was just, a combination of those things and the right pieces. And I thought our staff was really locked in on the Princeton Scout, and we did a great job with it. And we were just, our team was ready to go, and we got to, reap the benefits of it. It was just kind of, I don't want to say a relief, but it was a relief to get to win. And like, you're like, okay, like now we know the standard. Like now we've won in the tournament, and now it's about taking it to the next level.
Gosh, you guys are such a winning family. You guys are gonna go further next year.
Yeah.
It's only right. I mean, if you just look at the track record, you guys have only to go. And the reason I say that is because you mentioned earlier, you guys are currently number one in the transfer portal right now. And you brought up the speed dating. What are you guys now
hmm
saying that's just like, Oklahoma, you're selling Stillwater, basically.
hmm
And
hmm
what is
Yeah.
the standard that you guys are preaching that's working right now?
Yeah, I think that what we are, I don't want to say the vision that Coach JC sells is there's one thing to do in Stillwater, it's get really good at basketball and it's win games. And you can set your own path here. You can do something that's never been done here. You could go join, a blue blood and, be, do something that people expect you to do or do something that's normal or I don't want to say common, but like common, what people expect you to do. And that could be, great. You could be a player there, or you could be the one here. You could be like one of one. You could be part of something that's never been done at Oklahoma State. You can be a trailblazer. You can blaze your own path. You can be a trendsetter. Because Oklahoma State isn't, trendy. We're not flashy. We're not a big, sexy school name, but we know how to win here. We have everything that it takes to win at the highest level. And Coach, you said it already, but like Coach Stacy's a winner. Like she's gonna do
Hmm.
it, and she just needs the pieces to do it, and people to believe in the vision. And that's what we found this spring is just people that bet on themselves and bet on Coach JC and bet on Oklahoma State.
You guys pulled in Audie Crooks. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you, boy. Boy, I wanted her in that burnt orange. What was it like? Just now you're speed dating. You got her. What was the moment
hmm
like getting a name like Audie Crooks?
Oh my gosh, getting Audie was so fun because not because of what anybody like thinks it was fun for, just like her visit was so we just got to be like so ourselves. And she's so what we're about. Like Audie is so country. She's excited about fishing and JC's pond. She loves Stillwater. She's just us. Like she's one of us. She fits exactly what we're about here. And that was such a fun visit. Her visit was like one of my favorite visits that we've ever had. We had like a little Oklahoma State's Got Talent show because we were selling her on the super team with Liv and Staley and these shooters that we had already added. Like we're doing all this stuff. But it wasn't like a big flashy production. It was actually so like cardboard signs and like we wrote a rap for her and things like that. So it was really just a fun visit and yeah, we were all looking at each other in shock after like did that Oklahoma State's Got Talent show really just get us Audie Crooks? That's not what got it done, but the visit was fun.
So it's for me, it's I find it so hilarious because as a fan, you always wonder how the heck, how did that happen? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like now at learning that's how it happened. You know what I mean? It's just funny for me. And so
Well,
like,
you just heard Audie obviously just was, in media the other day and said she told the media about how on her visit, Coach JC showed her things she needed to improve on and didn't show her like a highlight reel or show her like we want you because you're so good at this. We actually showed her this is what you need to get better at and you're going to have
mhm.
accountability here to do that. And Audie loved that. Audie was so excited about that and that's, I think the real reason that we got Audie, it's not because of the talent show, but the talent show was just a fun little cherry on top.
Right. So now let's be honest, you guys now have high expectations bringing in a player like that. You guys have lived up to high expectations your entire life. Let's be honest. I mean, you don't get 107 straight wins without expectations,
Mhm.
living up to some sort of expectations.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
what what are you looking forward to most? Not just the basketball side of it, just the the overall camaraderie of it of next
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. I mean, I think pressure is a privilege and it's fun to be talked about. Whether it's, good or bad or hate or love, like it's fun to be talked about. I'd rather be talked about than not thought of at all. And what I'm looking most forward to is honestly this summer we're wrapping up week 3 here and not because of the basketball part. They are so fun to be around. They're the best teammates I've ever been around. The way that they hype each other up and just like are so invested in each other is something I've never actually experienced in the way that they are. Liv McGill is like the best teammate I've ever seen in my life. The way that she hypes her teammates up, like she'll throw the pass to the corner and be like, "You can't help off Ellie Brueggemann," like in the middle of like she hasn't shot it yet, and she's already saying that. So she's like the best teammate. Audie's the same. Like all these stars that we have on our roster, that's not actually who they are. Or like that's not how they play. They actually are so bought into our team and they're great teammates. They're fun to be around. Like they're fun people to just get to talk to and like so lovable. And that's what I'm most excited about is just like I love how bought in they are to each other and really bought into Oklahoma State and really just in line with what Coach JC wants for a roster. So it's going to be really fun because of the people that they are.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Now, this next part of we get off the timeline is I like to go down like just like I said before in our messages, just motivational time, just questions I found interesting on the online on the
Hmm.
internet and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So just get into it. What's something that you can learn about in a player in the first 10 minutes of watching them?
I think their communication. I think that how you communicate and talk says a lot about you. Um, Talking is something you can always control. It's not based on, if you're having a good game or a bad game, like you can always be talking. And I think it says a lot about your maturity. I think it talks about your leadership, the kind of teammate that you are. It's selfless to communicate. Like it's not always easy or convenient, but just watching a player and the way that they communicate says a lot about them.
When you're watching film, what's the first thing that you notice that most people aren't looking for?
I think activity. Obviously, I was a shooter and I work with our shooters. So the way that people move off ball is something that I really have an eye for and I really pay attention to. Motor and activity. I want somebody that's always moving. They're hard to guard just because if you turn your head once, like they're gone, they're going to cut or they're going to move to get an open shot. Pace, activity, motor, those things are something that always really stand out to me.
What's a basketball opinion that if you were put in a room of other basketball coaches that they'd disagree with you most?
Mm. It might be that I would say to just always take a three. Like I said, I'm a shooter. Like, when in Coach Carter, when Timo Cruz pulls up for three and he's like, "What are you doing?" Like, no, pull up for three. Like, that is maybe my hot take because I'm a 3-point shooter. I coach 3-point shooters. Threes are worth more than two.
You've been around some programs that have won consistently. What's something that elite teams do every day that average teams thinks is unimportant?
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's attention to details and consistency. Like it's it's the summer, it's week 3. Um, it feels different than week 1. It feels different than day 1, but are you still showing up with the same energy, the same consistency? Are you still, in line with your teammates? Are you still, even something small like our lines, even in the back of drills? Is there one line that has five and one line that has one? Like, we want to be as attentive to details as possible because it's a game of details. Like it's a game of inches, it's a game of seconds, it's a game of possessions. Like it's going to come down to one possession in big games. And the way that you've paid attention to details, even in the summer, I think is always going to get exposed. But I think it's consistency and just being really locked in on those little things.
You guys, like I said before, have had success in the portal. What's a player have to do that you feel like, okay, they fit our program? I know you said the talking before, but it's like, what is something that's
Mhm.
like, okay, I just talking to this player, just knowing this player, they could fit here.
Mhm. I think it's just somebody that wants to win. Like somebody that is like, I just want to go somewhere to win. I want to be part of a winning program. I think they have to like be bought into the vision that we have. And like I said, like we're not for everybody. Everybody's not for us, but it's if they're, falling in line with what we see for them, like the position that we see them in, the role that we see them in, do they feel the same way? Like are they bought into that position as well? And do they want to win? We just want players who are willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Who's somebody that doesn't really, because you talked about your mom and your sister, who's somebody in your basketball journey that doesn't get enough credit besides them two?
Honestly, my dad, because he is the person that just gave us those freedoms to do what we do. And he was the mediator around family dinner tables. That was, when we would come home from practice and we got in a fight with mom at practice, like dad was the one kind of like bringing it back down to neutral. Dad was the one driving us all over to AAU tournaments. Dad was the one literally putting the dinner on the table after practice, doing our game jersey laundry. My dad was actually a coach too. And then he became an administrator, so he stepped back from coaching. So he has like a coaching mind and a coaching brain, and he's very calm and thoughtful. Like he sees the game in like a just kind of like a real way. Like it's not like intense, it's not over intensified or like um dramatic, I would say. Like he just sees it for what it is and could kind of like bring you back down to life if you had a bad game or a good game. Like he could just bring you right back to neutral. And also just like he really paved the way for my mom to get to be a coach. So he never gets enough credit.
Gotcha. I only got a few more for you, Coach. I ain't gonna keep
Hey,
you too long.
no, you're good.
What's your I belong here moment when it comes to coaching?
Mm, I think it was I already talked about the Texas one. That's when I thought we can do this here. But I think for me individually, uh, when I kind of like was a lead person on a recruit that we signed out of the portal, I just kind of was like, okay, I can do this. Like, yeah, I can contribute and I know what I'm doing. And like when that player had success, it's just like, yeah, I can do this. Like I can help somebody or I think honestly like I'm still having I belong here moments. Like every day there's something, where you're just like, yep, like I belong here and um there's always doubts that come with it. I think that if you're great and you're trying to do something that's never been done, like there's going to be doubts along the way, but experiencing those like I belong, I can do it moments, like that happens for me every day, honestly.
I know that's right. What's one conversation women's basketball still needs to have?
Mm, that's a good one. I'll take maybe a different approach, but I just think that women, a lot, female athletes are put in a box of, like you shouldn't celebrate too hard. You shouldn't like be too cocky. People call it cocky if you're a girl. It's not cocky if you're a guy. You're just confident. But I think that people put girls in a box a lot, and it's like, well, you should be really nice on the floor, or like you should be very sportsmanlike, or that's not very classy of you. And I'm all for sportsmanship, but I'm also all for like flexing on an and one or like getting into somebody's shorts. Like I'm about that. Like I'm about, like a stare down after an and one or like shooting someone with a three after you bang one in their eye. Like I love that stuff and I think that's what makes the game fun. Like I love the celebrations. I love girls being confident in who they are enough to do that. And I never want girls to think, less of themselves or like feel like they can't act a certain way because they're a girl. Like, no, I don't want that. I want someone that's really confident and gets to walk that walk and talk that talk.
All right, my final two questions for you. The second to last one. If you can go back and talk to that girl who was sleeping in the bleachers at her sister's practices and games, and what would you go back and say to her, knowing that she's gonna be a WBCA's 30 under 30?
Oh, yeah. I would say trust the process. You're going to get to live out your dream with your best friend, who's your big sister, who's your role model. And the places that this game takes you are places you could never dream of. The people that you get to meet because of this game are your best friends, they're your mentors, they're lifelong people that are going to be along for a really special ride. And to use the game as your platform and know that you're always going to have eyes on you and you just want to be the person that people look up to.
I know that's right. And my final question, as always, I need a Coach Hoyt's quote.
Got it. Okay. I think maybe one of my favorite quotes that I just feel like applies to a lot of areas of life is that everything you want is on the other side of hard. And just knowing like in relationships, in life, in basketball, in, your job or your career, everything that you want, your biggest dreams or, aspirations, there's going to be hardships that come along the way and you're going to have to work really freaking hard to get there. But everything you want is on the other side of that.
I know that's right. Oh, that's a fantastic. It's been another fantastic, fantastic interview. Thank you so much, Coach, for jumping on the
Awesome.
podcast. Is there
Thank
anything you'd
you.
like to say to anybody out there?
No, just thank you. I appreciate you for growing the women's basketball game and just being a platform for sharing voices in the women's game and just thankful for people like you.
Thanks so much, Coach. I appreciate you. And oh gosh, I had to cover up the background, y'all, but
Yeah, keep
this is
that covered up.
it was for a great cause. It was for a great interview and a great cause. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hold on one second.